Hey all, Tony Bing here, hello and welcome back to the channel for another video for Ultimate Alliance 3. Now we have just a week or so until the game is actually released, so I'm really starting to get excited about it now, and yes, this is how my excited voice actually sounds. So in anticipation of the game coming out pretty soon, I've been looking through a lot of the videos that have been released from various different sources, promotional videos, to try and get an idea of how the mechanics of the game will work and the villains that we will be going up against. Now, we've seen an absolute ton of them. There's a few we've only seen in cutscenes only, but there's around about 25 or so that we've actually seen direct gameplay for. And in this video I've captured all that and I'll show it all off. But villains that we've seen in cutscenes only, so it's not guaranteed that we will fight them, but it's guaranteed that they will be in the game. That would include Green Goblin, Ultron, Ulysses Claw, Mysterio and Red Skull as well. I'm fairly confident we will get to fight all of them given that we've seen them in the cutscenes, but it's not 100% confirmed just yet. So for the rest of the video, as mentioned, we've got 25 different boss fights that I can actually show off that I've managed to get from various different sources. Some of them look absolutely incredible, especially the larger bosses, the likes of Surtur and Ultimo as well, really do look very nice. So let's jump in and let's have a look at them. The first boss we have here is what I actually believe to be potentially the first boss fight in the game as well. This came for Game Informer footage, and they advised us that the game starts off with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and you can see there's some cream mixed in here as well, but we also have Nebula. She's diving about with her dual blades. She looks to be a pretty simple boss, but given she could be the first boss we come up against, that does make sense. You can actually see her just behind the ultimate there of Star-Lord, and you can see her a lot better in this scene now. So first boss is Nebula. Let's check out and see who we've got next. We started off with what could potentially be the first boss in the game, and I think this one here could potentially be the final boss of the game. So you can see it is Thanos. Now what's very interesting about all the attacks is you'll notice they've all got different colours, and all of those colours actually correspond with the different Infinity Gems as well. So at this point it looks like he will have all of them now. With this gameplay here, and with quite a lot of the gameplay going forward, it's just small snippets we have, so there will be a bit of a loop when we're actually looking over this, but hopefully this gives you a good look at them anyway. So this is what I think could maybe be the final boss. This is awesome Thanos. We have the first member of the Black Order here for our next boss, and this is Corvus Glaive. Now you'll notice his attacks have a purple glow. Looking at all the different colours of the Infinity Stones, it can actually vary depending on whether or not it's the comics or it's the MCU, or depending on timelines as well. But the most recent one I could find from the comics would be that the purple attacks could potentially be tied in with him having access to the Power Stone. But that's Corvus Glaive. The next Black Order character we have here is Proxima Midnight. So looking at the colour of her attacks, they are yellow. If I'm going by the same version of the gems that I used for the last character, then this would mean this could be potentially the Mind Gem that she's actually in control of at the moment. This next boss we have here is known as two names. The first one is Calibsidia, another one would be Black Dwarf. Now you'll notice that his attacks are also purple as well, so does that mean he is in charge of the Power Gem at this point in time? Or does it mean that I'm simply reading far too much into the colour schemes of the attacks on the bosses? It may very well mean that, but we'll find out soon enough anyway. The fourth Black Order character we have here is one that not many people will be aware of. I imagine if they're just familiar with him from the Infinity War movie, because this character wasn't in it at all. This is Supergiant. Now once again here the attacks are yellow, so are they sharing an Infinity Stone? Or at this point, to be honest, I'm pretty sure that the colour of the attacks probably aren't tied into the stones, if I'm going to be honest. But this is Supergiant. Nice move there. That's potentially maybe like an extreme attack that they're doing there. So let's check out the final member of the Black Order. The final Black Order character we have here is Ebony Maw, otherwise known as Squidward, thanks to Tony Stark, God rest his soul. Now the attacks here, they appear to have a blue tinge to them. Could that be tied in with the Space Stone? Really not sure at this point. So that's all the Black Order characters. Let's see who we've got next. This next boss then is one that's also been confirmed as playable. It's the awesome Magneto now. His attacks have the purple tinge to them, could be tied in with the Power Stone. From the footage we've seen so far of cutscenes, I'm fairly certain that he does get possession of that stone, and that could be why the Black Order actually turn up to take down Magneto and try and take the stone off him. Likely they will actually be successful, and that's why he will in turn then actually join the heroes and fight alongside them. The next boss here, the gameplay footage for them was so short that I couldn't really loop it, that's how short it was, but it will be Mystique. We can see at one point in the game you go up against the Brotherhood, so you go up against Magneto, Mystique and also Juggernaut as well. On the subject of the Brotherhood, we actually managed to get a fair bit of gameplay of the Juggernaut boss fight. So this takes place in the basement of the X-Mansion, and it's just after a scene where Juggernaut's chasing all your characters down a hall and he smashes his way through Deadpool's tackles, and that's why Deadpool is there actually helping out as well. So this looks like a really interesting boss fight. It's in close quarters and you have Juggernaut bouncing all over the walls. This next boss fight here is one that was only released relatively recently. It's the awesome Loki. Now, with this boss fight here, you can see he's using his scepter to attack. He does melee, he does some ranged attacks, but he can also call in some illusions as well. There you go. You can actually see them on screen now. Now, there's a lot of speculation that Loki could be an unannounced playable character, and I'm really hoping that's the case because the skills he have really would be a whole ton of fun to play around with. So we're back to the X-Mansion once again. This time we're on the X-Mansion grounds, and this would be the Infinity Sentinel that you're facing off against. It looks to be the case that this Sentinel is actually in possession of a Power Stone. Also during this fight you'll see that Colossus and Cyclops are actually helping you attack. So does this mean that they could be included as part of the upcoming X-Men DLC? I really hope so. We then have a very famous Spider-Man villain. It's two very short clips we've got here, so excuse how quickly these actually look, but it is Dr. Octopus. We can see as well that you've got some inmates from the raft lying around there, so it looks like you'll go up against a lot of Spider-Man villains in the raft, so that's going to be a ton of fun to play through. We're staying at the raft here for our next gameplay. Now this character we actually seen in the first trailer for the game is Sandman, where we had a very short gameplay clip, but I wanted to show this actual screenshot off because in the screenshot you can see that you're having to use turrets to actually take him down there, so that's an interesting mechanic for the boss fight. So we're not quite done with the raft yet, and we actually have two bosses to show off. This particular boss fight, you fight two of them at the same time. The second boss is hiding away at the top of the screen, but the first one you can see that we're fighting right now is Electro. Once you actually defeat Electro, then Venom comes into the fight, and you can see that his attacks are electrified because I believe he actually consumes and potentially eats Electro and takes on his power, so you're fighting a Venom with electricity power, so this is definitely going to be an interesting fight. This next gameplay segment we had was another one that was so short it simply wasn't possible to loop it, but you can see that we are fighting Bullseye here, and it looks to be a hand style setup where you're fighting him, some kind of dojo. This was also the first time we actually got to see that Wasp would be a playable character, so it was pretty nice to see that. For this next boss we have a very short bit of gameplay, but we've also got this screenshot here, so you can see that it's MODOK, he's got his own minions, and he also appears to be in Wakanda. If we check out the gameplay here, it is exceptionally short as mentioned, but it is nice to actually see him in action. So we've got another boss combo here. We've got Hela and the Destroyer. It looks like they're in Asgard, and it looks like Hydra's taken over as well. Now it's just the two screenshots we've got because the footage is so quick. The first one was from the cutscene. This one you're seeing at the moment, this is some gameplay. You can see Hela on the left there, and of course Destroyer's about to charge down Magneto by the looks of it. So we're back to the Kree warship that I believe will be at the start of the game. We're facing off against Ronan the Accuser here. You can see he's wielding that massive hammer as well, so it certainly looks very interesting. So this footage here is actually taken from one of the Infinity stages that's in the game now. We also seen a harder version of this, and it featured the boss we seen a moment ago, so it featured Ronan the Accuser alongside Kingpin, and Juggernaut was thrown in there as well, so it looks like these Infinity trials are really going to be pretty tricky, but for this footage anyway, of course, it is Kingpin that we're seeing today. The final three bosses we look at here are what I would class as mega bosses. They're huge and they look absolutely amazing. So you can see that Ant-Man is squaring off against Ultimo here, that's a screenshot, and then we've actually managed to get a very short gameplay loop as well. So you can see him firing that big beam across the screen there. Quite how you're supposed to avoid that, I'm not quite sure, but looks absolutely incredible. The next mega boss we have here is Surtur. You appear to be fighting him on the Bifrost Bridge by the looks of it, and if you've played Marvel Heroes Omega, going up against Surtur in an action RPG with this scale on him really will bring a tear to your eye. The final mega boss we have here then is Dormammu. It appears to be in the same dimension from the end of the Doctor Strange movie, and you can see the Mindless One minions just roaming about as well there. So absolutely amazing. That's all of the boss footage we were able to capture from actual gameplay. So what I'll do now is just quickly summarise all the characters we covered here. So we start off here with a list of villains that we have seen in cutscenes, however it isn't confirmed we'll actually go up against them. So there are 5 of them in total, so that would be Claw, Green Goblin, Mysterio, Red Skull and also Ultron. We then have the characters that we've shown gameplay footage of for today, so in total it's 25 separate villains, so to run through them: Bullseye, Corvus Glaive, Cull Obsidian, Destroyer and Hela, Dr. Octopus, Dormammu, Ebony Maw, Electro, Infinity Sentinel, Juggernaut, Kingpin, Loki, MODOK, Magneto, Mystique, Nebula, Proxima Midnight, Ronan the Accuser, Sandman, Supergiant, Surtur, Thanos, Ultimo and Venom. And if you look at the fact that we're getting 30 plus characters in the main game as well, with DLC it may go over 40 plus, and we've got this number of villains. It's absolutely awesome. As a Marvel fan, as an action RPG fan, I'm absolutely in heaven, and roll on next week when the game comes out. Now let me know in the comments below which of the boss fights was your favourite one. For me personally it was the mega bosses at the end. Absolutely loved the look of them. If you've enjoyed the content on the channel as well, please take the time to hit that like button, subscribe if you've not done so already and you want to see more content. Feel free to share, and again leave a comment below, let me know which boss fight was your favourite one. And thanks for tuning in as always, and I'll see you all again soon.